and welcome to Claire's Yoga and Wellness channel. Today's yoga flow is going to be a fun, full body flexibility flow. Today we're going to really work on a nice Vinyasa yoga flow that helps us improve our flexibility. And while we do that, it also helps us to feel better. When our body is able to move and open up, it makes our general well-being feel so much better. You know, when we're stiff and we've got short, tight muscles, we don't feel great. And it's very difficult for the blood to flow through our body and make us feel energized and really ready to take on the world. So today's yoga flow is going to be a really, like I said, lovely, full body, fun, flexibility inspired flow to make you feel better and to really help you lengthen out your muscles and lengthen the parts of the body that sometimes, feel quite tight and stiff. We often have tight hamstrings, or we have not very much movement in our spinal mobility. So what we're going to do today is to really get the body moving and to open and stretch those areas that we find a little tight and difficult sometimes. So let's get started, and I hope you enjoy. So come into a comfortable, easy pose, and we're actually going to start with something that we hold a lot of tension in, which is our shoulders and our neck. Now, we often don't stretch and increase the flexibility and lengthen through our neck, which then throws everything off balance down the rest of our spine. So just to start off with, I want us to just try and bring your ear towards one of your shoulders. If you're up here, just ease into it. We're going to do some neck rolls, and we're going to really start to open things up and feel good. So bring your ear towards your shoulder, and you can close your eyes here to make sure your shoulders are down. Try not to be tense and stiff. Try and relax as we get started. And breathe through it. And then you're just going to drop your head forward and come to the opposite side. And you might find that you have stiffness on one side and a lot more flexibility on the other. And that's completely normal. But let's hope that we can really balance you out as we go through this flow today. And then come forward. And then again, drop your head forward, round to the opposite side, each time lengthening through the side of your neck. And repeat this one more time on each side. Come forward. And each time you do it, see if you get a little bit closer for that ear onto your shoulder. And then last time. And as we're sitting here, I want you really to engage your core. So although we're working and stretching our neck at the moment, it's important to hold a really good posture. So pull your core in, make sure you're sitting up and your shoulders are down. Right, now we're just going to do some big circles with our head. We're going to do 4 on one side and then change direction. Last one. And then repeat on the opposite side. And come back to center. Place your hand next to your side body, and you're just going to reach your left fingertips to the opposite side of the room, getting a lovely stretch through the side of your body. Look up towards the ceiling, and if you can reach your forearm down to the mat, but if you're still up here, just work with your body. Then we're going to swing around and repeat on the opposite side. And repeat again. Really adding movement as we're doing it into our spine as well. Come forward. And again, we're going to repeat this one more time on each side. Making sure your sit bones are staying evenly on the mat. All the way around. And last time. Come up to the center. And here I just want you to do some big circles. Nice, round, all the way as far as you can. And if you find this a bit difficult, you can just make them small until you feel that mobility and that movement as you open up your body. Change direction. Then come back to the center. Place your hands next to you and let's just step back into our downward facing dog. Now here you might find if you are a bit stiff in the hamstring, you need to have a bend in the knee. That's perfectly fine. Just walk your dog out on the spot, nice and slowly, adding that length into the hamstring. Any tension, you want to slowly work it out. And when you're ready, come into our downward facing dog. And I just want you to hold it here. And just try and relax into this pose and allow the length of your hamstrings just to lengthen here and to really feel. Push your sit bones towards the ceiling, drop your sternum towards the floor, and just enjoy this pose. And then we're just going to take a few steps forward to the front of our mat, coming into our standing forward fold. Bring your feet together. Again, if you need to have a little bend in your knee, make sure you're folding from your hips, not from your lower back. And you're just going to stand here. And like I said, you can walk one leg at a time until you ease into it. Then come halfway lift. Bend your knees and then slowly roll up one vertebra at a time, coming into our mountain pose. Make sure you're grounded through your feet, engage your core, and just feel where you are. Close your eyes for a moment and see if you can feel balanced on both of those feet, whether you're moving side to side. Just gauge where you are right now. Then interlace your fingers behind your back and you're just going to push your chest towards the ceiling. Bringing your hands, dropping them towards the floor. Come back to center. Come back down into your standing forward fold. Breathe here. Step back with your left leg coming into our high lunge. And just hold this pose for a second. Make sure you're really engaging that back leg. Sinking through the hips. We really want to lengthen through our hip flexors here. Where we hold all of that tension, this is a really good point to start working on our flexibility. If we can open up our hips, that helps as well. Same with our spinal mobility. If we can make our spines feel much more able to move and not so tight and stiff, we'll find our flexibility in things like our standing forward folds will be much easier. Step back into plank. Engage your core. Hold for 3 more breaths here. And And then just step forward with your left foot coming into your high lunge on the opposite side. Place your hands on the floor and step back into our plank again. Engage your core. Again, we're going to hold for another 3 breaths here. And then come through your chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Try and keep your thighs off the mat if you can. Let's just hold it here. Really lengthening through your core. And then push back into downward facing dog. Step your right foot to the outside of your mat, coming into lizard. And just stay here for a moment. You can now sort of move side to side, getting into your hip here. And then drop that back, knee to the floor, untuck your toes. And then you're just going to take your hand and push the right knee out, rolling to the outside of your right foot. And then you can just add a little back bend here, looking over your right shoulder, really getting into your hips. And if you'd like to, take your left foot, reach for your foot and pull it towards your glute, coming into a really nice quadricep stretch here. Staying on the outside of your right foot as well, so you're getting deep into your hip as well as into the quads. Then release your back leg, tuck your back toes, step back into our plank, engage your core, and come through your chaturanga. Upward facing dog. And push back into downward facing dog. Lengthen through your spine. Push your tailbone up towards the ceiling, sinking your sternum towards the mat. And just take 2 breaths here before we repeat on the opposite leg. Step forward with your left foot to the outside of the mat. Again, coming into lizard. Just move a little bit here. Find where you really need to get into that hip area. And then just slowly roll to the outside of your left foot. Sinking the hips here. And then drop your right leg to the floor. Coming up, using your left hand to push open the knee, getting deeper into your hip. Look over your left shoulder. And then just breathe through any uncomfortable tightness that you may be feeling right now. And when you're ready, lift your back leg, pull it towards your glute, coming into our quadricep stretch. Then extend your back leg, tuck your toes, come back up into our lizard, step back into plank. Again, holding for 3 breaths. As we're working on our flexibility, we also want to work on our core strength as well. Having a solid core always helps with the stability as well as working on our flexibility. Through our chaturanga, upward facing dog. And then come back into child's pose. Reaching your fingers to the front of your mat. And you're just going to place your forehead in between your arms and take a breather before we carry on. And then take hold of your hands, bring them into prayer position. And to get into the back of your arms, I want you to bring your hand over the back of your head. If this is too difficult or too sore, you can stay in child's pose. This is such a lovely way to get into our triceps. And if you've been working in the gym, pumping those weights, this is a really nice way to lengthen out the muscles. Release your hands, come on up into tabletop. Just bring your knees slightly further back, and we're going to bring our hands forward, coming into puppy pose. And sink your chest towards the floor. You can either keep your chin up, or you can bring your forehead to the mat, wherever you feel the most benefit, wherever your body allows. Make sure your knees are directly underneath your hips, and enjoy the stretch. Then come on forward. Drop your hips to the floor, coming into our baby cobra. And just push through your hands, lengthen through your neck, and really feel the nice stretch through your back here. Quite often we forget to actually work on strengthening our back. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to push on up and then slowly come back down again. And we're going to repeat this 4 times. If you'd like to as well, you can always bring your head towards the floor and just increase up and make it into a wave-like motion. Do whatever feels good for you. And then hold it here. Make sure you're not engaging your glutes. You want to be all working on your lower back. Then slowly come back down. Bring your knees in. Come back into our tabletop. We're just going to move side to side, getting into our hips here. Come back to neutral, and we're going to add some cat-cows here. But we're going to do it in a wave-like motion. So we're going to come towards your heels, round through your spine, drop forward, and then push through your tailbone, and then come back. Let's repeat this 2 more times. And last one. Come back to neutral. Tuck your toes. Downward facing dog. And again, we're going to take 3 breaths here before we move on to the next exercise. Extend your left leg into 3-legged downward dog. Just going to bring knee to nose and then extend into 3-legged downward dog. Let's repeat this 2 more times. Really engage your core as you touch your knee to your nose. Last time. Come through into 1-legged chaturanga, upward facing dog, and back into downward facing dog. Extend your right leg into 3-legged downward dog. And again, bring knee to nose, engage your core, pulling your navel towards the spine, and repeat 2 more times. And last one. And then come forward into 1-legged chaturanga, upward facing dog, and then push back into child's pose. Again, if you'd like to add that tricep stretch, you can do so as well. Extend your arms, tuck your toes, come into downward facing dog. And this time, we're just going to step through with the right foot, pivot round, coming into our wide-legged forward fold. And to begin with, I just want you to place your hands on the mat. If you're up here, that's fine too. Find where you're the most comfortable. Pigeon toe your feet in as well to help you with your balance. I just want you to stay here for a moment. Really feeling that stretching down the inner thigh and the backs of your legs. Place your left hand in the center of your mat, and you can add a nice spinal twist here too, reaching your fingertips towards the ceiling, looking up towards your fingers. Change sides. Come back to the center. We're just going to move side to side here. Going as far as you can, using your hands to balance you out, just helping with you getting deeper into the hips and also helping with that increase in the flexibility here. Come back through center. And if you can reach your forearms down to the floor. Then take hold of with your left hand onto your right foot, and you can add a nice twist here as well. Come back through the center, change sides. Come back through the center. You can, for those that can, you can come down into your box splits or side splits as far as you can. And for those that find this too difficult, you can also just stay where you are. And then carefully bring your hands up, and you're just going to sit down onto the mat into your seated wide-legged. And we're just going to reach forward. Place your hands in front of you again. Just take your time here. Breathe through any tightness, stiffness. Sometimes right before we get that release is the most uncomfortable. But if we don't persevere, we don't actually benefit and get the release we're looking for. But there's also a fine line between that and injuring yourself. So please listen to your body and know your body. So if you are incredibly tight, don't push it to the point that you're going to hurt yourself and then you're going to set yourself back for a long time. What you want to do is listen. But just if you can feel that you're about to give and you can relax into the pose and actually feel those muscles releasing, then enjoy when it does. You can also reach to one side, bringing your chest down. And then change sides. And as you can see, one side you might find much easier than the other, depending on which side it is. You might be all the way up here, and the other side you can get all the way down. But if you keep working on the side that you find a little stiffer, eventually you can help to even it out. Come back to the center. Bring the soles of your feet together. Try and keep your knees, and you can hold onto your toes to help. Try and pull your knees towards the floor, lengthen through your spine. And if you can also use your elbows push out. Try and reach your forehead towards the floor. Come on up and come into a ZZ position. Bring your left foot towards your glute. Place your right foot onto your inner left thigh. And you're just going to fold forward again and coming onto your forearms. And if you like to, you can come down, bringing your head towards your hands. Come back up, change sides. Fold forward again, you can come down. Either you stay here, depending on how much mobility you have in your hips, or come onto your forearms. Just make sure you're keeping your sit bones nice and even on the mat. And if you need to use a towel to put underneath, please do it, or another prop, your blocks. And again, if you'd like to, you can come all the way down, bring your head towards the floor. come back up. Just pivot round, coming into the center of your mat. We're going to do some seated cat-cows. Just going to roll through your tailbone and then push your chest towards the ceiling. Repeat this at your own pace for 4 more times. And last one. Come back up. Slowly roll down, controlled, 1 vertebra at a time, coming onto your back. Extend your right leg. Place your right leg over the top of your left knee. I'm just going to bring your knee in, interlace your fingers behind the leg, and you're just going to pull your knee towards your chest, and you can use your right elbow to push out the knee to deepen the stretch here. This is our reclined pigeon, and it's so nice to get into the glute. And if you do struggle with things like sciatica pain or herniated discs, this is a really lovely pose to do to help alleviate some of that pain. Then we're just going to interlace our legs coming into our eagle legs, drop them towards the side, coming into a nice spinal twist here. Reach your right fingertips to the back of the room. And then just relax into this pose. And come back to the center. Untangle your legs, extend your left leg, and then just bring your left ankle on top of your right knee, and again, interlace your fingers behind, and use that left elbow to push out the knee as you bring your right knee towards your chest. You can either keep your head up off the floor, or you can release it wherever you feel you get the most benefit here. And then come into your eagle legs, dropping your knees towards the right side and reaching your left fingertips to the back of the room, coming into a nice spinal twist. Come back to center. Undo your legs, bring your knees towards your chest, and just rock side to side, releasing any tension on your lumbar spine. Bring your knees or your forehead towards your knees. One last squeeze as you release and come into our final pose, Shavasana. Extend your legs to the corners of your mat. Allow your arms to fall to the outside of your body. And just let each muscle relax from the head to your toe. Focus on your breathing, close your eyes, and just go in on yourself. And see how much more at peace and calm you are now that you've increased your flexibility, taken some of that tension and stiffness out of your muscles, improved your spinal mobility, release that stiffness out the neck. And just enjoy these last moments of our full body flexibility inspired yoga flow before we close off today. And if you'd like to carry on with your Shavasana, please do so. If you're ready to end your practice with me today, start to move your fingers and toes. Stretch over the top of your head. Take one big deep breath in, and then exhale everything out as you roll to one side, meeting me in the center of your mat in your easy pose. To finish off, I just want you to again place your hands on your knees and just add those nice big circles with your body. Just seeing if you feel any more mobile and free, and you're not quite as stiff. Last one. And again, do your neck rolls. And just feel if you feel much better now that we've worked on your flexibility and mobility. Change sides. And come back to center. Thank you so much for joining me today on this beautiful, full body, flexibility inspired yoga flow. I hope you're feeling great, and I'll see you again. If you did enjoy, please remember to like and leave me a comment. And if you're not yet a subscriber, please click the subscribe button and share with your friends and family if they also would benefit from this flow. Have a wonderful day. Namaste. Take care.